Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady.
And I'm Mr. Arthur.
And we've been getting a ton of questions about our little greenhouse here. And so I thought that it would make a lot more sense to have my handy husband David give you the explanation, because he's the one that constructed it, 9 years ago?
It's been a while.
Yeah. And it's evolved over time.
It has.
So see, in the early days, we actually did use it as a greenhouse. We covered it.
We did.
And it worked out, but it wasn't warm enough for the plants I was trying to grow in it. You remember, like, all my succulents died because it got to 5 degrees?
It didn't hold the heat in.
That's right. And so over the years, we've kind of just decided to stop putting plastic over it in the winter and use it more as a shade house, which is really practical. And we got this shade cloth. This is 50% from Gemplers.com. And it's been on from the very beginning. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, because you're the one that made this happen in like one day. And I'm gonna try and find some old pictures to put in here so people get the context that this was nothing, and then it was like over New Year's, you just built a greenhouse.
Said you wanted a greenhouse, you got one. So the greenhouse, we ended up getting some post and some of the PVC from a friend, and then we had just built the shop, and I ended up using the concrete forms from the shop to build the greenhouse. So the greenhouse is 14 feet long by, I want to say 6 feet, 7 feet, no, 6 feet, no, yeah, 6 feet. And it's that size because the biggest piece of plastic you can get at Home Depot will cover this.
What size is that?
That is 25 by 20.
From the paint department?
Yes, from the paint department. And initially, like Bree said, we used to wrap this with plastic, and this is built to accommodate an old screen door we had. And I used to roll in the plastic in these joints. These are for like a screen porch. But we don't really do that anymore. So the benches were built because the first couple years we used to really pack this with plants, and we didn't secure any of them. And we made it so you could put a tall tree in, and they just come right up. And then it's worked out great with plasticizing her mist bench. And then the benches are the same length as a tray, so we can fit as many trays in here as possible. And I ran electricity and water because you need electricity and water in a greenhouse. So we've, like Bree said, we've tried heating it. We've tried like a 55-gallon drum of water. We've tried having electric fans and different things, but it just doesn't work out. We wrapped this with the 50% shade cloth when we first constructed it, because she needed, I don't know.
I needed some shade.
She needed some shade. I don't know all the ins and outs of it. And I've just tried to make it the right size and convenient.
So, like David said, this really is the perfect size, at least for my needs, because I'm not starting a nursery.
She's not going to start a nursery.
I'm not allowed to start a nursery, even though it's my general inclination to grow a lot of plants. But some of the things that I regret doing, well, number one, painting the PVC. We just wanted it to blend in and black doesn't show up, but was it like 6 months and it started to like break off and
really
made a
did.
huge mess, and now it just looks kind of gross.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And
they don't have black PVC.
they don't make black PVC, you know, and that's what thing is. This was mostly constructed from recycled stuff, which was awesome, but is a disadvantage for all of you because I don't have a link to send you with measurements and exactly what to cut and buy this as a kit. I mean, it would be awesome if it was a kit, but yeah, it's not. It's more substantial than the kits that I've seen, at least. I mean, so we're going into, I think that you made this in like the New Year's of 2010 going into 2011. So it's actually going on 10 years old.
Yeah.
And we haven't done any repairs to it at all. Like this is all original.
Everything except the water.
Everything
The
except
water bursts every year. I don't care what you do. You try steel, you try wrapping it in insulation, it's gonna pop. Just go ahead and unhook it and drain it.
So this greenhouse doesn't have any water in the winter, which is fine because here in North Carolina, we get like 1,000,000 inches of rain all winter long, and then we're dry all summer. It's just this climate. So it hasn't really bothered me to not have water out here. I would say the biggest change that we made, and we made this change back in 2014, was the addition of the mist bench.
Yeah.
And this was really just like a stroke of genius. It was because Joe Lample was coming to film my first ever episode of Growing a Greener World, and it was all about plant propagation. And until then, I didn't actually have this capacity. And so David took the challenge very seriously and accommodated it without any trouble whatsoever. And in that sense, these wooden pieces not being fixed made it so much easier to create the mist bench.
Yeah, it did.
Because we're able to just take all of these off, cover this entire row with that same plastic that we used to use to cover the top.
Yeah.
And we do cut it to size. And then David hooked up like mist cables. So tell him about the mist bench.
The mist bench started out as like one of those mist things that hooks up underneath an umbrella in the summertime, and it kind of evolved and grew. And then I had to find a timer that would work, so we ended up getting the mist timer too. And you'll have fun programming one of those.
Watch a YouTube video on how to program it.
You have to watch it about 5 times. Pour you a glass of wine. Relax. It's fun. Yeah.
But it's worked like a champ. I mean, it's not terribly sophisticated or complicated, but that's the thing about having a mist chamber. If you're really interested in plant propagation, creating one of these doesn't take a lot of money. It's really just about creating an environment that balances the rate of transpiration and respiration and holds enough humidity to keep those plants from wilting and feeling stress until they develop roots. And, you know, we did these just over a week ago, and everything looks fantastic.
Yeah.
So even though I say I'm not starting a nursery, I'm going to end up having a whole bunch of plants available at the fall open house.
Yes, you will.
So I have a nursery like 2 days a year is what it boils down to, thanks to this greenhouse.
Yes.
As so many plants are able to be propagated and grown in this condition. Significantly easier to keep things watered and not stressed with this 50% shade cloth. This is the only thing in our yard that has shade.
Yeah, it
At
is.
least in the backyard. So without this, I really would struggle to be able to grow plants.
You'd
So
be cooking some plants.
thanks for building me a greenhouse.
You're welcome, Shug.
And I hope this video is helpful for all of you. I'll be sure to add the dimension information to the description. And I wish you best of luck in perhaps building your own little greenhouse growing facility in your home gardens. So thanks for watching. If you found this video to be helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Be sure to follow Breathe the Plant Lady on YouTube and hit that bell notification so you'll know when a new video gets posted.